How do you decode complex MCAT biochem passages? Imagine trying to solve a puzzle with many pieces that all look similar. That's what decoding complex biological or biochemical passages on the medical college admission test feels like. These passages often seem dense, filled with unfamiliar terms, detailed experiments, and complicated pathways. But don't worry, mastering this skill is all about strategy and practice. Start by viewing each passage as a scientific story. Usually, it has an introduction that sets the scene, methods that explain what was done, results that show data, and a discussion that interprets what it all means. Even if these parts aren't labeled, recognizing this pattern helps you find information faster. When you see a new term or a complex pathway, don't get stuck. Focus on the main idea first. Ask yourself, what is this passage about? What is the main question or hypothesis? What are the key molecules or variables involved? Highlight or mentally note familiar terms because they're likely to be important for answering questions. Less familiar jargon can be ignored unless it's directly relevant. As you read, pause after each paragraph. Summarize what you just read in your own words. This helps you remember and makes it easier to go back later. If you come across a confusing term, try to guess its meaning from the context or from your knowledge of word roots. Don't waste time trying to understand every detail on the first read. Instead, focus on grasping the big picture. Relate what you read to your core science knowledge. If the passage talks about an enzyme, think about enzyme activity, kinetics, or regulation you've studied. If it mentions a drug affecting gene expression, connect it to transcription or translation processes. This way, even if the passage is complex, your foundational knowledge helps you make sense of it. Many passages include graphs, tables, or experimental data. Practice interpreting these visuals. Look at the axes, units, trends, and outliers. When a question asks you to interpret data, focus on what the data show rather than memorizing numbers. If a question references a figure, go back to it and use the information directly. When answering questions, read each one carefully. Many questions can be answered by referring directly to the passage, so don't rely solely on memory. For experimental questions, identify the control group, the independent and dependent variables, and possible sources of error. This helps you understand what the question is really asking. It's normal to encounter unfamiliar terms or techniques. When that happens, make your best educated guess based on the context and your science background. If you're unsure, mark the question and move on. The test is designed so that not every detail is essential for every question. Practicing decoding complex passages now is like training for reading medical literature later. In medical school, you'll often need to quickly understand dense articles and research papers. Developing this skill will make you more efficient and confident. The more passages you practice, the better you'll get at reading fast, understanding deeply, and answering accurately. Remember, focus on the main idea and structure, highlight familiar concepts, summarize as you go, relate to your science knowledge, interpret data carefully, and answer questions strategically. With these steps, you'll be able to decode even the most challenging bio or biochemistry passages on the MCAT.